Oh yes,
Oh,
I've got news and views
you do.
and a major big announcement.
I knew it. So I told you he was gay, right?
You just recorded that.
First of all, I plead innocent of all charges.
Right, I'm going to go and get a beer and man up. Hello and welcome to episode 39 of Talking Elvis. Ian Gray with you, pressing the buttons on the side of the desk again. And my guest today is my other half, Vince. Hello, how are you?
Hello, hello out there in radio and TV land, whatever we call
Yes,
podcasts.
you're letting me press the buttons this week. I'm really pleased.
Yeah, I just can't be asked, to be honest.
It's one of those days, eh?
Yeah, gotta say, yeah, I just plod along.
What have you been up to?
Well, I'll tell you what I haven't been up to. Apparently, there's football on the telly, and I wouldn't know because I don't do footy.
Oh, you're missing out.
So I've just been watching Tom and Jerry cartoons in my head.
Splendid. Okay, there's no bad thing. So yes, number 39. Here we are. I hope we enjoyed number 38, which was your interview with Ashley Drew, which is really good fun. I enjoyed that a lot.
She was great. She was a belter, and
Yeah.
the I've never seen an Elvis film content was
Uh,
was
Absolutely.
a
Yeah.
quite a stirry upper. So I was glad of that. But be honest, tell it like it is. Don't tell people what they want to hear. Tell them the truth.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And if you disagree with it, then come along and disagree with us. We'll put you right.
Yeah, that's it.
Got some news here. This is some good stuff here. I'll tell you. The
News
big.
and views. I'm pretty light on at the minute. I've
Yeah.
had the latest volume of the sold out 8 mil film. The footage
Yeah.
one. So that's another one coming out, and they're talking about volume 7 now. So they really are milking you for every penny.
And you've got all the previous volumes.
Yeah,
Oh, fantastic, fantastic.
sad or what?
Anyway,
Yes.
anyway, I was
That's
just
why I
going.
live in a cardboard box under the viaduct. Right.
The warehouse for your Elvis memorabilia is bigger than your house, isn't it? You
Yeah.
know? Right. So I was flipping through Variety the other day, as you do.
It's the
Um,
spice of life, isn't it?
it really is. I was hoping that somebody was reviewing us, but no, I couldn't find anybody just yet. So
Colour
here,
supplement.
here's a thing. Here's a thing. Starting hopefully early next year, 2022, there is going to be an Elvis Presley channel.
Oh yes, I've
You
heard
heard
this.
about this?
Yes.
This is a deal between Elvis Presley Enterprises, so it's a little bit official,
Yeah.
and a company called Cinedim. Um, and they're going to be going through basically at the moment. All we know is going to be documentaries. It's going to be the Ed Sullivan shows. It's going to be maybe the '68 special. It's going to be stuff like that. We don't know about movies just yet because, of course, they're tied up in many different
I
guises.
would imagine it will
Yeah.
be because
It
if
will be at some point.
talking
Yes.
pictures is licensing them,
Yeah.
it's not an arm and a leg.
No.
It's different to license them to broadcast for 6 weeks, for a month, whatever, rather than I'm going to make a finished product that people own. So I reckon they'll get them. They won't get them all, but they won't get them in any particular order. But you'll have it like the Viacom releases of the old 8 mil. You'll have those. The Hal Wallace ones will come up. I would say pretty much sharpish.
And if you go to Amazon Prime, certainly in the UK, you type in Elvis. There was quite a few Elvis movies there as well,
Yeah,
wasn't there?
yeah.
So it'd be
But
nice to have one dedicated Elvis channel. That'd be quite fun.
do you think it's going to be a lot of the Elvis, the last 24 hours? Elvis,
Oh
what
yeah,
happened?
yeah.
Elvis, his life in pictures.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be a lot of them things, isn't
It's
it?
all the 10 quid DVDs that we've all transferred from VHS video, isn't it? It's
Do
going to be
you
all
mean
that sort
you
of stuff.
mean what we used to do as raffle prizes when we could get them for a quid off eBay?
Exactly the ones which I've got in my on my shelves here, and I haven't even taken the cellophane wrapper off it.
Yeah.
So that'd be quite groovy. It's be nice just to go. It's like click. There's the Elvis channel. Just watch it brainlessly for an hour or something.
But it's funny that in the Ashley Drew interview, I did actually suggest that this is what I would have loved.
Yeah.
So last month I suggested it. They've obviously just taken me up on it. But I do think it is, if you haven't listened to that one, I do think that this is good news, but it's the end of the DVD dream
Mm,
of the
yeah.
box set with everything together.
Yeah, that's the ultimate, isn't it? That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But hey, there we go. That's the modern world. That's what we're.
So that's good. That's excellent news. Is that
And
going to be like £7 a month or something? Is it going to be another?
well, I don't know. I mean, it's like in the UK, Amazon is one of the carriers, and I guess they'd probably incorporate that into the monthly price that you already pay. I'm just guessing. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, it could end up as another like Disney Plus channel, couldn't it? Where you pay another £7.
Another £7. I
Yeah,
would imagine
so
they're going to try and milk it.
yeah, I should think so. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. That's early 2022.
Talk about the good times with Talking Elvis.
And here is the big news of the week, nay the month, nay the year, right? Talking Elvis is on Instagram. Yes, indeed.
You've actually done it now, haven't you?
We are now on Instagram. So if you are on Instagram, go and follow us right now. We'll follow you back. We'll be posting links to the shows. We'll be posting silly photographs here and there. There's already a couple that we've put up on there for you. So if you go to Instagram and go to Talking Elvis, it's all one word. And you can message us. You can do whatever you want on there. It's absolutely wonderful stuff. So yes, we have joined the world of social media.
You know, when you say we, I haven't got a clue what it is. I am really so far behind. I'm still in MySpace, and
Well, so it's Facebook without the opinions. So you can still get a photograph of somebody's breakfast if they're out and about or their dinner.
Yeah.
But you won't have like all sorts of other stuff on it.
So now you've done this, I'm going to have to sign up, aren't I?
You are going to have to sign up to Instagram. Yes.
Right. And do we Twitter and tweet and whatever?
We don't Twitter just yet.
We don't Twitter just yet.
I'm deciding whether to go that route or not. So we'll see what happens on that one.
But old Insta should work. So that's
Instagram,
good.
Talking Elvis. Go and find us, and like I said,
right.
we'll give you.
I'll go and do that now. I'll see you in a bit.
All right, bye.
Thanks very much.
Right, now he's gone.
Talking Elvis, a new podcast.
It's good news then. Well done, you.
Okay, so obviously the first picture I put up of there was one of Anne Margaret, because that's the only photograph of anything Elvisy that I had on my tablet when I set it up. So a good start, I should think.
Excellent start. That is the best news. Any more news?
That is it for me for this week.
Well, that's good news, right?
Todd Slaughter is retiring as leader of the Elvis Presley fan club. I believe he's still going to be an executive producer of the fan club magazine, but
hasn't he sort of stepped back for a few years?
Well, yeah, but he's made it. He's
actually properly going.
He said it officially in the latest magazine. Yes.
Oh, I didn't get that one. I forgot to.
Well, I didn't rejoin either, but for some reason he sent me one. So
yeah. I mean, we talked about the different magazines that are out there. I sort of overloaded a bit on the magazines, and then I sort of let them drift again. So, but it's good that he's going out on his terms. It's not like it's
absolutely
folded and
he's official. Yeah, absolutely.
But a bit of a legend in the Elvis world.
100%, yes. Kept Elvis's name alive in Britain, certainly, for all of these years. So well done him, and hope he's
and always good fun at the bar.
Absolutely, yes. Can't deny it.
Yeah. Nice one.
Many an interesting conversation,
yes.
or argument. Depending on what time of day it was.
Yeah, smashing stuff.
Good stuff. So there you go. So that's it for now. Now, what do you want to talk about on episode 39?
Well, as I said, I gave you the reins. CBA kicked in. I couldn't be asked, so I have left it entirely up to you.
Well, here's the thing. Do you collect every single new release of every single new Elvis concert from Follow That Dream or whoever? Because to me, every time I pick up an Elvis magazine, there seems to be a different concert coming out. Nebraska, 1975. It's like Omaha, 1976. All this other stuff. So, are you one of these completists with the concerts?
I used to be. I used to want to be, but I couldn't. And when I was buying the old C90s, with them, and I had boxes full of them, and it was
It's terrible.
so they were terrible. But the track listing is the same, isn't it? Pretty much.
That's my thing. Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, if general public aren't going to buy Elvis concert after Elvis concert, they may have Aloha from Hawaii or Elvis in concert from '77, but that's it. I'm not far off that myself. You know, I've probably only got, I don't know, 10 concerts from the '70s in my collection. You know, because just for that reason, it's just a bit mundane. It's a bit the same. Here's a thing, and a lot of people won't agree with this, but I believe that Elvis was lazy in the '70s when it came to live performing. He was formulaic. He didn't make any effort, and which was amazing, given the voice and the range of voice that he had throughout his life until his death. He had that voice. He had that presence, didn't he? You know.
Yes, I think that's a very good point. Is it lazy? Well, I never went. I never went to see him in concert. So you imagine it's 1977. It's April '77. You've got the first time you've ever managed to get a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to go off and see him. Now, when you go and see any band, you like the Police. If you go and see the Police and they don't do Roxanne, are you upset?
A little. Yep.
Yeah. You go in, they've got to do that. They're going to come back. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. I know they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I think with the Elvis one, we got that minute and a half versions of stuff, didn't we?
Yeah.
So that you went home going, he did it.
Yeah.
How good's that?
Yeah.
And that's where it kind of fell foul a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have said to me, people that have been to see Elvis in concert said the presence of Elvis in the room, the greatness of Elvis was what made it. It was a thrill of seeing the world's biggest performer, and he was at the time. So really, the material was immaterial.
Oh,
to a certain degree. See what I did there? to a certain degree, wasn't it? You know, it's. But when you look back now and you start looking at all the concerts, and he does the same thing month in, year after year after year, and that's a little bit disappointing for me. And also, it's like with artists, they will say in the concert, "Well, here's something from my latest album." Now, Elvis never did that. He was releasing what, 1 or 2 albums a year, sometimes a third one if they can get a compilation going up from stuff that hadn't been released and stuff like that. And admittedly, Elvis would have recorded these things like 2 years before he was on the road or whatever, and probably had forgotten or wasn't interested in them. But he never showcased the albums. It's like he never went out and said, "Right, from my latest album today, here is."
Well, we had a couple of that. You know, we've got versions of Moody Blue live. We've got versions, but it's like 1 or 2. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? So, are you saying it's a bad thing?
I am. I'm saying it's poor management of the catalogue from Elvis and the Colonel. I think it's almost a little bit naive, to be honest with you. Yeah. I think RCA were lazy as well. They just said, "Well, we'll bring an Elvis album out and it'll sell, so it doesn't matter what he does." You know?
So really, if Elvis Today was coming out tomorrow, see what I did, right? Right. If Elvis Today was coming out tomorrow and it's back in the day, nowadays it would be push that album, flog that album to death, wouldn't it?
It would be advertisements on television.
It would be 8 of the 10 tracks would be on sort of thing on the gig. And maybe, you saw him on the Tuesday, he did TROUBLE, and on the Wednesday he didn't, but he did another track, and it would be that these days, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think so these days, like when you get the big bands and the big solo artists performing as well, they've got production companies behind them, haven't they? It's almost like an event on its own, just getting the thing on stage, Elvis had Joe Esposito. So maybe there was a little bit of that in it. And like I say, Elvis's albums would sell anyway, so there's a bit of complacency going on, which is a bit of a shame, I thought. So I thought, now, Elvis recorded some amazing stuff, especially from 68 onwards through to 74. A lot of the songs on those albums were ignored to a certain degree, which I think he ripped through his 50 songs without showing them any sort of respect at all, which on some performances make me cringe, if I'm honest. Although he did some great medleys, didn't he? He did, if you think about the Memphis concerts and the
The whole flip flop fly.
Yeah, wonderful
Now
stuff.
that's interesting, isn't it? Because flip flop and fly has come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
we hadn't heard that since the TV shows, had we?
That's right.
You know, when he banged it on the end.
It was almost spontaneous, wasn't it? Which made the performance great. You know, he really put his back into all that sort of stuff, and along with JLS, Rock Hound Dog, all that sort of stuff in there with it. But it didn't tend to do that very often that we saw anyway, that we heard, which is a shame. So he basically ignored. My questions are: I've got a couple of questions here for you. What should Elvis have continued to perform? What songs? Right?
Oh yeah.
Don't answer straight away.
Okay.
What should he have stopped performing?
Oh.
Yeah, that he carried on really in the 70s. And what should he have performed, which he didn't perform?
Yeah.
So those are it's like 3 questions all into sort of one discussion.
So obviously, Old MacDonald should have been a big feature in the 70s shows,
along with Old Shep as a showstopper.
Right. So now we've got them out of the way, we haven't got to mention them again. I like that. That's good.
So I'm not saying did you want to hear Elvis perform your favourite song? Because that's not the point of this. The point of this is to come away with, oh, you remember when he did that song? My God, that'll stay with me forever. The presentation of it, the bigness of it, the drama of it. It's like, think of I saw Tina Turner doing Proud Mary live and Madonna performing Like a Prayer live. They were absolute epics, if you like.
Yeah.
You see it with Michael Jackson songs, on stage, like Thriller and what. Absolute epics.
Would you say Elvis's version of Unchained Melody on the 77 vocally is blow your brains out amazing, isn't it?
That's an epic because he performed it solo on the piano.
But he's
amazing.
Just sitting here. But you didn't want a troupe of dancers behind him, did you?
No, not for that. No,
not for that.
At all.
That works as it is. So that is probably. And now, if this is with the Elvis shows, I think when you watch on tour in concert, that's the way it is. Lower, we're seeing a very well lit Elvis, aren't we?
Oh,
we know it's not the normal. I can't see him. I'm at the back of the venue, like we're at the NEC going. Is he on yet? It isn't a big stage show, is it?
No, not.
It's an orchestra. It's and the band, the tight band.
The most pizzazz, if you like, the most visual thing we ever had was Aloha from Hawaii with all those flashing lights behind him. But you can't really name any others, really, can you?
Well, when he's just doing the blooming Milwaukee Civic Hall or whatever they call it, when he's just doing that, it's a bog standard stage, band at the back. There is nothing. Is there? I suppose in the 50s, at least we had the Nipper Dog or a great big banner saying "See Elvis in Jailhouse Rock" now.
Yeah. I mean, you had the Houston Astrodome, huge. You had Madison Square Garden, huge.
But he was still only just plonked in the middle, wasn't he?
He was just plonked in the middle with a band.
Yeah.
Even at those big venues, it was.
But if you were watching other bands of the 70s, your psychedelic, electronic prog bands would have all been weird lighting and smoke machines. Even then, wouldn't they?
Elvis had such a huge catalogue at his disposal. And he could have had a huge production company at his disposal as well. Again, if you think about it, looking back now, it was a very small-time operation that he ran, or the Colonel ran, or RCA ran, or whoever was responsible for it. So they couldn't go into production numbers like we're thinking about here. Yeah. Which is a bit of a shame. Like the Osmonds, they did the whole disco thing, didn't they? And all that sort of stuff when they were live. So
really, this is kind of going off, but bear with me because it's going to come back, right? We've got 50 years of On Tour coming up.
Yeah.
So, there's a million hours of footage we haven't seen. This is the bit that gets me. I don't want them to go, oh, look, we've got a whole show and we're going to go, look, it's the same old again. Yeah. It will be lovely to see him singing that, and it's a different camera angle.
Yes.
But for me, what we've never had with an On Tour is and onto a documentary. I want to see the people queuing up for the tickets. There's hours of footage of that. I want to see how they set the stage up. We've got footage of that. I want to see the crowd footage for the newsreel at the start, and then through to this is the support band, this is the comedian,
Yeah.
this is voice having a bit, this
Yeah.
is that anticipation of him coming in. This is
Yeah.
what he's doing behind the scenes. So for me, a revamped on tour, it isn't just here's a box set of 10 complete concerts.
Oh
'Cause
no, not
it's
at
a
all.
bit yawn,
Yeah.
but a documentary that actually is this is what it was like to see Elvis in concert.
Yeah.
I
The
think
whole experience. Yeah.
yeah, and if you had to use a bit from on tour, a bit from That's the Way It Is, a bit from a lower,
Yeah.
I don't care because it's still showing this is how they set up the rigs, this is how they sold the tickets, this is how they made Vegas pretty.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, well, I know we've got it, and that's my dream. So that way is brilliant. So your proper question of the songs, oh, I like this. So I think the absolute showstoppers that we had that weren't used enough is Unchained Melody, I mentioned,
Yes.
Hurt,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and Rags to Riches.
Mhm.
Those are for me the three best examples. And he did them sometimes, but it wasn't an always. Would we have been bored sick if we'd got 8 million concerts with Rags to Riches in?
Probably.
So when I look at Big Boss Man and My Boy
Mhm.
that were done live,
Mhm.
and we're limited to a couple of them, I still find that really exciting because it is that bit. When
It's
it
the
was
rarity of it,
the
isn't it?
rarity of it, would he have done My Boy a bit half soaked if it's the fourth time this week?
Well,
Yeah,
there is that danger. We're banking on the fact that by having this conversation, that's he probably wouldn't be doing what we want, what we're going to talk about in the next little while.
yeah,
He wouldn't be doing it every fortnight.
yeah,
He'd be doing like 2 tours a year rather than 6 tours a year.
yeah.
You know?
But and if you're stuck in Vegas, and everybody from Neil Diamond to Babs to the
Hmm.
Osmonds,
Hmm.
they're there and they do show after show after show, and it's put your smile on, bang bang bang, greatest hits, you're gone, isn't it?
I certainly understand the Vegas engagements not changing too much. Yeah, of course I
Yeah,
do, because
yeah,
that's what you do. That's just like your 9 to 5, isn't it?
yeah.
But it's the other road trips as well that they could have.
It's the proper on tour, isn't it?
Yeah, they could have done without. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hi, I'm Ashley Drew, and you're listening to Vince on Talking Elvis.
So, what would you add? What would you add in that?
What I want to do is modernize an Elvis concert. Now, like I say, I don't want to just say, "Oh, why didn't he do Tender Feeling? Why didn't he do Kissing Cousins?" Because they're movie tracks, and I've never heard them. That's a shame. That's not the point of this. I want to just modernize it and make it an even bigger event than it was. As I've mentioned before, Elvis was the event. Regardless of what happened for the hour he was on.
Can I just paraphrase Elvis a minute?
Uh-huh.
Shoot the damn bird, right?
Are they actually? They're actually. I think they're fighting over the over the grease ball out there. I think.
Yeah.
Now, for my fantasy concerts, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go along the lines of songs which he didn't perform but could have performed, but in the way of in the grand production number way. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we all know he came out to the 2001 theme tune, and then went to CC Rider, or That's All Right, which is fine because the classical music, it builds it up, and I like that. I like that sort of build up. And my favorite entry into the arena is the lower, isn't it? Because it's grand, it's colourful, it's loud,
Yeah.
and then the drums, Ronnie Tutt on the drums is fantastic. It's like and then Elvis suddenly appears on the stage, and it gives me a thrill. And the air stand at the back of me every single time. So that's great. But let's do something maybe a little bit different. Elvis was the all-American boy. So why not, The Lights Go Down, big screen, a car, and Elvis driving it along a freeway, passing, lots of different signs saying "Welcome to Houston," "Welcome to Maine," "Welcome to here," "Welcome to there," to the music, to him singing "Stay Away," how could I stay away, and all this sort of stuff. And then you end up with the last sign that Elvis passes is just say he's doing Newark, New Jersey. There's a sign that's saying Newark, New Jersey, and Elvis turns off, and then it comes out. So that's, or if it's Memphis, I'm coming home or going home, something like that. I just thought that would be a little bit different. I mean, don't you like something?
No,
don't you like something
seriously.
like that? Don't you like something like that?
I think that I do and I don't, because I really believe 2001 is an Elvis brand.
Okay.
So I'm keen to stick with that, but you could then go from that to the filmed sequence of something.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I could lose 2001.
No.
An opinion, that's all. But yeah,
No. I get. Yeah, like I say, it's one of my favourites as
yeah.
well. The Hawaii concert is good. All right, so let's go into the actual concerts, right? Now, it didn't do many film songs, did he? Which is a bit of a shame, but
Is it?
yes, it is. Yes, when you hear what, yeah.
Did we want Bossa Nova Baby in
No.
1976?
No, we didn't.
All right.
No. As much as I love that song,
Yeah.
no, we didn't. No, because that's being lazy. That's just putting your favourite song into a concert again, isn't it? But what about the old Red, White, and Blue, the Stars and Stripes? Now, everyone loved it when they did Trilogy or sang America the Beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? And you think about the end scene of GI Blues, Elvis in front of that huge American flag with all the troops singing Did You Ever?
Yeah.
So why not make a big production number of that, mix it up with GI Blues, and have the American flag all over the place? And it's like it's a marching song, so it's like Elvis can sort of get the crowd going and all this sort of stuff, and all this sort of stuff. I think that would be a fantastic big production number.
Do you know what?
Yeah,
I've got that on my list, and I've put brackets Candyman, Christina Aguilera, because it would be like that, wouldn't it?
It would be exactly like that. I never thought of that. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got that on my list here. And I think it is that's also kind of he could have done This Is the History of Me. So you do a 50s and then a six, then I joined the army. Then you'd have the patriotic bit in that with all the cheerleader, with all the red-headed Aguilera, basically.
But yeah, girls come on
And marching on and all the
in
GI
the
Joe.
army go, absolutely, yeah. And then you could have a little image here and there of Elvis in the army himself, and
so the proper, like you say, the GI Blues salute. You'd have all that. A montage of clips of him in military uniform from the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the huge, great big American flag rippling on the, on the screen behind or whatever.
Do you know what I also saying that now? I'm not sure in my fantasy head whether that's the end of the concert.
It could well be. Could
Yeah.
well be. I mean, especially if you was performing on or near the 4th of July.
Oh my life, that would be.
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
that
would erupt, wouldn't it?
The crowd would be wetting their pants, wouldn't they? Let's face it.
Yeah, I reckon that really is a good one.
So I mean, there's one or two candidates for the finale of the concert, and that is certainly one of them. Like I said, this is in no particular order for me. This is the way it comes, but this as a finale would be amazing, especially in America. In their own backyard. I think that would just be something else. So yeah, let's go a bit of red, white, and blue. That'll be.
And do you know what? That if they could do that now with the RPO stuff, if they were touring again, you could actually knock that up on the screen,
big it up,
and without an Elvis on the stage, that So have a full RPO and surviving members of the band doing Do You Ever?
Yeah,
Do you know that could actually work with modern day.
Yeah, I think
Ooh,
so. Like I say, we're trying to modernise the Elvis concert here.
yeah.
You know, I know it's a bit of it's a fantasy, of course it is, but why not? You're allowed to. You're
Yeah,
allowed to talk.
it's my
It's
bat, my ball. I'm going home.
these are the sort
Right,
of things
yeah.
we talk about when we're 25, bottles of whiskey down the down the road. So
I think this is good now. So because I was thinking a different way at first, but I'm like this now. So when you look, and Elvis did that the request box where you could say, will you do return to sender?
Mm.
And he's kind of doing it off the top of his head and forgets half the words, and that's a shame. I think
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think when you get a song that you don't know, you go, oh, that's it. And I always think that some of these, when he does a one-liner in a studio, he knows more of the words to that because he likes it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so when he starts thinking, oh God, I've got to do return to sender, although we might love it in an Elvis disco environment as a bit of a twister, we still want the 60s vocal, don't we? Because
Yeah, I guess we do. Yeah,
I think a good example of things like this is we did love letters in the 60s and in the 70s,
yeah.
and everybody has a favorite
Hmm.
of which of the two is best. And I think that the 70s version blew the 60s out of the water, but not everybody does. But I love that. But sometimes the 70s vocal wouldn't probably have worked on some of the 60s songs, would it?
No, not at all. And we are in this fantasy world of ours thinking that maybe Elvis didn't beef up to the size he was in 1975, 76, 77. Maybe we're thinking that, less concerts, less touring would make him a bit fitter and leaner and able to do stuff like this. I mean, like we just talked about the Did You Ever GI Blues or sort of Grand America sort of finale to a show. He couldn't have done that in his present state in 77, could he?
No, but look at him in
In 70.
68 special when they do the gospel
Yeah,
medley,
yeah.
and you've got dancers everywhere. He only does a shuffle, doesn't
Well,
he?
this is very true. Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't do the whole thing. But you know, in this idea, my first thought when you said about this is you do the whole Jailhouse Rock sequence, but he would probably not be sliding down a table in '76. You know, um, he'd be more like playing the cardboard saxophone at the back. Uh, yeah, yeah, like that one. Go with
So,
that.
sticking with America, right? And now you've got a couple of things here. What was also on a movie, a big production number? Drums of the Island, wasn't it? It was a huge number.
Oh, come on, us. You. Oh no. Oh,
No?
good. Oh, it's a good production number, but I don't think I want to sit in the Houston Astrodome going. Um, no, not for me. Not for me. That one.
Okay, we'll leave that one. How about Viva Las Vegas? Surely
Now, now, isn't
no.
that funny that you can't have anything on the telly about Vegas without playing that now?
Well, there
Any
you go.
program.
Everyone
So
recognised
that
that as
is
Elvis.
everybody knows, but it wasn't at the time. But yeah, that is an absolute one. And you'd have all the showgirls there, wouldn't you?
Yes, indeed, you could.
It would be
Yes.
like like that sequence in the film where he's going around all the clubs trying to
Yeah,
find her.
I
It,
reckon you
yeah,
could have played that anywhere, not just in Las Vegas.
yeah, oh yeah. And I think these days again, you could RPO that up, couldn't you? Because it'd still be a '60s vocal.
Hmm.
And I can't believe I'm saying do this, because I'm so anti RPO usually. But I really got quite excited about this.
See, it's what you require to get the big production, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not
Can
just
I?
the studio that we're talking about.
Yeah. I'm going to say here, cutting into your thing, a thing I love when I go and see bands today, I love the bit when they strip it down to just a little acoustic set. So
Ah,
you've got the full orchestra, yeah, they're doing their bit, or you've got
yeah,
bass and electric and everything, and they come in and they go right this bit, and they go back to a slap bass, a banjo, and a fiddle, and they go,
yeah.
and I would love at this point that you have a country as bluegrassy basic country as you could get, and do things like Susan When She Tried, and do anything that is a little bit more country, whether it's old or new. But like the band's gone, the orchestra's in the dark now. There's
It's
no
literally
Charlie. Yeah,
literally 4 of them on stage. Yeah,
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 and one
yeah.
spotlight. And I tell you what, the great I saw years ago. I saw, who did I say? Can't think of a name. Oh, and they did this, and it was literally one mic.
Yeah.
One mic.
Yeah.
Genuinely, this is people with a good voice. Alison Krauss. I went to see
Oh,
Alison
wow.
Krauss in
Okay.
Union
Yeah.
Station,
Uh-huh.
and they did this bit like that, and it was under one spotlight. And I was in the Symphony Hall, and I was up on the mantelpiece, sitting up there, and it was lovely, and you could have heard a pin drop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just did this, and a boring story while I was there. The best part of the end of that was, Oh Brother, where art thou?
Yes.
You know the Man of Constant Sorrow.
Yes.
You know the guy who actually did the vocals for that.
Yeah, it wasn't George, was it?
It wasn't George. Is the bloke in this band, and
Oh,
he
wow.
did that. So I heard that live by the real bloke. Yeah,
Fantastic.
no soggy bottom boys, but
Yeah.
it was great. But
That's
that whole sort of bluegrassy thing there. Oh, that's an Elvis. That's an Elvis session that you've just streamlined down to nothing in a spotlight. You'd hear a pin drop, and he had the best musicians.
Yeah.
So you'd have the best steel guitar, you'd have the best fiddle. I mean, in modernising it, I would Dixie chicks you have to say now, don't you? I would Dixie chick it, or even like a Brandy Clark kind of backing.
Yeah.
That would have been good.
I mean, just leading on for that. I mean, I've actually written down here, and this is similar to your just 4 or 5 of them on the stage together. Elvis on stage on his own, just sitting on the stool with a guitar, just having a chat with the audience, and maybe just doing a "Love Me Tender" on the guitar, or even get this, "My Happiness" or something like that.
Yeah,
it's just so we're both along similar lines there, aren't we? Just like the spotlight and take away all the oomph of it. Strip it right down to the basics, which is just as effective.
And I think
because you remember those moments, don't you?
Yeah, it would be hair on the back of your neck, whoa, type of deal. And I think you could do that. You wouldn't do it all in every show.
No.
But if they did that in the one show, but the next night it was a small acoustic blues. We had My Babe and Baby What You Want Me to Do. Yeah, we had them every now and again, certainly early on. But a proper, a sort of a BB King session type of deal.
Almost what Elvis would do in rehearsals or in his changing room, isn't it?
Yeah. I think so. It would also be in the round. It would kind of be a tribute to the '68 special.
Yes, it would. Yes.
Yeah.
It all comes together. There's all little circle developing there, you see?
Yeah, see, we don't just throw this together.
See, once you get into it, you start thinking and the mind starts wandering. This is what conversation's all about, you see.
So
is. And would you have any guests?
Well, I was just going to say this. If you had that, now, Colonel would not want anybody upstaging it.
No,
I mean, this times where he's gone and watched Tom Jones, and you've hoped that they sing together, would be wonderful. And he's saying, Neil Diamond's in the audience and Del Shannon's in the audience. What about some of those where you go, come on, let's do it. Let's get up and do your song together. But even behind the scenes, we've got James Burton, but if it was an Eric Clapton, if it was a Jimmy Page, wow, just for one song.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm because he did a couple of duets with Anne Margaret, for example. He did Lady Loves Me, You're the Boss, Today, Tomorrow, Forever. So there is evidence of Elvis singing with somebody else. I know they didn't do it in the studio together. I know that, but maybe, I don't know, if he's in New York, if he's in California, whatever, then whoever lives there,
Well, yeah,
You
and if
know,
you go back,
just performing 2 or 3 songs with them, it does happen with other artists, doesn't it? So,
oh yeah, I mean this is the great thing, and if you're looking up to 77, somebody like Bruce Springsteen or Billy Joel
yeah.
would have bitten his hand off if they'd have
Oh,
said that.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
And you think, yeah, or any Beatle, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
any Beatle would have probably won it. But yeah, it's like a John Lennon turning up and doing so. Oh man, that would have been
It would have
amazing.
been.
But
So yeah, I certainly would have had a guest, certainly.
But I know what it should have been. It would be the old rock and rollers.
But Johnny Cash, Elvis, and Johnny Cash together.
Elvis, Johnny Cash, Elvis, Chuck Berry, Elvis, Little Richard.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Elvis's heroes.
yeah.
Oh,
Now that could
can you imagine? Oh,
yeah.
dear me.
I mean, I've just had a sort of thing pop in my head now, and in that sort of stripped down, no big band, just the four of them under the spotlight. Can you imagine Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain and Pledging My Love?
Oh yeah, very very It's like a soulful performance.
So yeah, so then you're going into that. Then you go into the I've got a feeling in my body, kind of funky
good.
session. We love I Can Help in an Elvis disco environment, but wouldn't that have got the crowd clapping? When you see the whole audience clap, not doing the silly clap that
that wouldn't have been invented by them, would it?
That would no, but
Thankfully.
just generally, is it left? Is it right? Is it clockwise? I can't remember. But you would have had the feeling that of the noise of the crowd.
The crowd participation number. That's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shake a Hand's another one for that. Obviously,
shake a hand, and everybody just does the old Lang Syne crossing of the arms.
Something like that. I mean, obviously that's frowned upon in these pandemic times, but you can't shake anybody's hand anymore. But
yeah, but we can't do Kiss Me Quick either. Then
can you imagine? It's one of those audience moments, where they put on the floodlights and illuminate the crowd.
Yeah.
And when you've got the end of Hey Jude, da 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 da, Hey Jude, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And the fade out to Shake a Hand is Elvis just doing Shake a Hand, Shake a Hand, Shake a Hand, and all the crowds, it's like you say, the old Lang Syne thing, all waving their hands in the air, something like that. I think that's a real participation number. Like I Can Help, I think.
Shake a Hand and I Can Help would be a double whammy there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge participation number. It's like it gives, connects the performer and the audience, then, doesn't it? I think, and again, it's one of those big moments in a show that you'd remember, isn't it? Where the lights shine on you, and get into that way.
And then you've done that, and you've got everybody psyched up. You go in then to pure rock. Now you look at a whole lot of shaking when he did that.
Yep.
You'd have a medley type of deal of that. The screams would be heard 100 mile up the road, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I mean, would you have a souped-up version of "Burning Love"? Like the one from Cirque du Soleil.
Oh yeah, to be honest,
with the heavy guitars rather than the stuff he opened up with. I mean, when he opened up with "Burning Love" in various shows, that's great, no problem with it whatsoever. But as we're reimagining the concert, and now you've said go into a rocker, "Burning Love's a great rocker, especially I like that newer version with the electric guitars.
I'm going to really throw you off one here.
Ooh.
Elvis in real time, right? So he died when he died. So you can't choose a song after. What rocker would you have said that could have been done 74, 5, 6 that was already written, already known that he should have just gone wallop with?
Oh, there's a one.
Is there one that you go, if you're into fantasy land here, what rocker should he have done? Because rock was already huge by then. He's met Alice Cooper, he's met Robert Plant, he's aware of what's going on musically. What would it have been? I wonder what would be the absolute rocker to do there. But even if you just did something like Proud Mary after that, would work, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Or patch it up. But I was thinking of a good rock, not a rock and roll, a rock as in
I mean, you know, Promised Land is an old rocker, is it? You know, because
Yeah.
that was from time gone by. He did it occasionally. Same as Trouble. He did that as well already, didn't he? So
Yeah.
um,
But I mean, a rocker sort of
yeah,
what would have been current for, you know, he's not going to he's not going to do Black Sabbath, is he? He's not going to cover a version of that. But I don't know. Just that's just one I think that you could leave open. That's just imagine the rock song that he didn't do that he should have done. Would you have put in a bit of a, if I say what I think of it, you're going to know straight away. Would you put in a medley of, you know, stuff like Once Is Enough and Moonlight Swim and
here's a medley of a few
you
songs from
wish,
the movies.
yeah, like a wishy-washy
Yeah,
type, you know. I like them as they are, but
yeah.
I could certainly live without that. But
Yeah,
would
but
you
when you've
want?
got when you've got the bloke in front of you who performed it, um, it'd be nice to see that sort of thing by him personally, rather than just on a movie scene.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't say sing the individual songs, like you say, a medley of one or two movie songs. Here's Elvis kissing, you know, whatever, Joan Blackman. Here's Elvis kissing. You know, I kissed a lot of women in my time, folks. A bit of a laugh, you know,
yeah.
bit of a thing, and shows little scenes like that, and he, you know, they can, yeah, one or two things like that. The Once Is Enough thing would be good because there's two Elvises.
Yeah,
Or,
and do you know that second one looks just like him now, doesn't he?
yeah, it's
I mean,
amazing.
what was the chances of
It's
that?
amazing they found somebody who managed to get that
And
part
yet,
as well. You
you've
know,
got a million Elvis impersonators, and none of them look like him.
it's amazing. That's extremely good casting. That was even had the same name.
Elvis,
Who'd have thought? Who'd have
who'd have
thought?
thought that? We've seen the wig.
We have. Wouldn't it be great if we could persuade Henrik next time we go down there to say,
Put it on.
just open that up and give a lend of that, just for the photo opportunity.
Oh God, yes. If he's
And while we're
listening,
at it, while we're at it, we'll play with those GI Blues puppets as well.
oh,
We'll
yes,
treat them like Sooty and Sweep. You know.
yes.
This is Henrik Knudsen from the Memphis Mansion in Randers, Denmark, and you are listening to the Talking Elvis podcast.
What about the end of the show?
Right. I've got.
Or have you still got more? Have you still got more for the middle?
No, not really. I've got. I have got an end. It's a
Right.
different ending to an Elvis concert than we're used to.
Yeah.
Because I was always a little disappointed that he never sang "Can't Help Falling in Love" straight and in the right tempo. It was a throwaway. Right, oh, thank Christ for that. I've reached the end of the show. Now I can bugger off for a cup of tea. You know, that was the
I was
impression.
going to say that. Joe, put the kettle on.
Yeah, it really
Wise
was.
men say.
It really was, wasn't it? You know, which I think is a real shame. And then there was no encore and all this other stuff. Here's a song that what I'm perplexed to this day as to why he never performed it. If I Can Dream, it's one of the great songs of all time.
It's a great message song, isn't it?
Yeah, but even even if you
I
take
mean,
the mess,
that sends
it's
you off on
it's inspiring, isn't it?
a high, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, this doesn't have to be. I've got one or two ideas on this end of show thing, and you could flip it. You know, it could be the one way round of the other. Now I've got If I Can Dream. So he thanks the audience, goes into If I Can Dream, takes the applause. Everyone's going, "Oh my God, I've just seen that!" You know, live right in front of my eyes. Amazing. And off he goes into the dark. But the auditorium doesn't just whack on the lights and say, "Bugger off, Elvis has left the building." I'm going to give Elvis an encore.
Right. So before the encore,
Yeah.
I want to share. I'm the same.
Yeah.
I've got an end.
Yeah.
And then go for an encore.
Yeah.
So my end is a song from a film. It's a song from the 60s then, but I would love to have heard it with the 70s vocal.
Right.
And I think it would be a good end. And I want to end the show with It's a Wonderful World.
That's a really good ending.
Yeah.
That's
and I know I'm going to stand on the
finish
chair
off
and
on a
wave
high.
my arms. But I'm going to fall off a table doing it. But
Yeah.
I know, but for me, with the 70s vocal and a bit of oomph, that could be made into something quite special.
I think that 70s vocal lends itself to that song without any shadow of a doubt and without any problem whatsoever. Brilliant. I never gave that one a thought. That's a really good ending.
Isn't that what this is about? Now, dear listener, if you haven't turned off already, this is our opinion, but this is what we do. This is talking Elvis.
Yeah.
It's talking Elvis. You can't tell me, people out there, that you haven't sat and talked complete, utter bleep.
We've all had those what if conversations regarding Elvis's career, haven't we? Yeah.
And when you suggested doing this one, I wanted to go with it. And I've got notes here very vaguely, but most has come off the top of my head today because you've inspired me to go, I never went that way. I never went that way.
That's what it's all about.
And that is a good conversation.
A little more conversation with talkingelvis.co.uk.
So, encore. Elvis has gone off then. He's either done Wonderful World, he's done If I Can Dream, he's done.
Yep.
Even he's done his Fast, Can't Help Falling in Love, Kiss Everybody Goodbye. Gone off. So lights are down. What happens then?
Lights are still down, so you got that anticipation with the crowd standing up and clapping and clapping and clapping. Come on, come back.
Now, at this point, aren't you sitting there going, do you know, he hasn't done this, he's going to do this, he's going to do this? Have you got a song now that's a dead cert hit that he should have done, or have you just got something that's going to be a crowd pleaser?
No, I've got a dead cert, which he did do but never continued to do.
Yeah.
And is a crowd pleaser, and it's instantly amazing. Yeah. Now, with an encore, you don't want to come on just do one song, so you want to just like carry them on, and even if it's only for 3 or 4 minutes, so like the band would start up with something like, I don't know, Such a Night. Just because the crowd is still on the feet, they're still jumping.
Yeah, so we've had that live, haven't we? We've had we've had some later uses of that. Yeah.
So he just comes on, sings Such a Night, and then you can either go into the final song, which I've got for you in a second, or you can maybe chuck in a Don't Be Cruel or something like that, just a quick medley of 2 or 3 50s songs or something like that, throwaway songs, and you can do those throwaway because you're in the encore.
Yeah. Now, have all of these got to be upbeat?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, you're not going to come on and do. Well, for me, you could come on, and if the latest album included Cindy, I would come on and do Cindy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm not going to come on and do And I Love You So.
Absolutely right.
Yeah,
yes.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've got to leave the crowd on a high, I think.
Yeah, they've got to, and it's the old grey whistle test. They've got to go out humming that tune.
Absolutely.
And if it is a new one off the album that's out next week, it's got to be, blimey, that's a rocker. I love that.
Absolutely, yeah. Do your advertising, yeah. But, so chuck in something like that. Either go back to your 50s stuff and chuck in 2 or 3 just for as a quick medley thing. Or do something from the latest album, that's good, bit up tempo. But what is one of the crowd pleasers of all time in this country, certainly? Everyone likes to join in with the vocal, whether it's Elvis's vocal or the background singer's vocal. And can you imagine all this going off?
Not confidence.
You got me. You got me.
No. Is it? We're the C and an O. No, please.
How about, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Good night. The band then starts going into the Wonder of You. Would you end with that? That's because everyone goes, whoa, 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 don't they?
That is a draw. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of the amount of times I've come out of pubs singing that, and that isn't even Elvisy nights.
No, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I think that would be a wonderful way to end on a high of an Elvis concert. To be honest with you.
So you come back, you do some sort of rocker.
Yeah.
Maybe a new song.
Yeah.
And then a proper end with Wonder of You.
I think that's a way to finish an Elvis concert, to be quite honest with you.
But if you didn't, and you put Wonder of You in the middle of the show, and still did it as a regular.
Yeah.
How would you soup it up a little bit? Because you're not going to want a ton of dancers on that or a video.
No.
It is going to work better. No, you're right. It's going to work better at the end, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, you've got your Did You Ever GI Blues sort of thing at the end as well. So there's another option for you.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that my Jeva was kind of the end of the show, not the encore.
Yeah,
I think that's the end of the production.
Yeah,
and then you come back and you do a couple of hits, a current song, and then Wallop at Wondering You. So my It's a Wonderful World idea is a clash with the Jeva.
It is, yeah. But
I think
it's still up there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that I'm torn there. So maybe I think my money would be on Jeva as a big production number, fireworks, the lot, all singing, all dancing.
Yeah.
Followed by a cheers and thanks. It's the Wonderful World. Then lights off. Then the encore we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if Elvis was that inventive, and if he was that interested in updating his shows, he could rotate these type of songs in whatever order he wanted, couldn't he, over the years?
Yeah.
I
mean, I think for me, I want to see in my reinventing Elvis show, I want to see the stripped down bit. I'm not sure whether I only want a stripped down show when I don't want a full orchestra. I want what we had in the studio in 1970.
Yeah.
I want those guys and a fiddle player and a steel and do a country one.
No, I agree with you on that one. Yeah, because I
might go smaller venue, and I've got tickets, hopefully, all being well, in a couple of 3 weeks to see Robert Plant at Malvern Theatre.
Oh, that'd be tremendous. Such a small venue, though.
It's a 700 seater in the bit we're going in. To me, he's still a rock god, isn't he? He's still amazing. Yeah. And he's in there now, COVID permitting, that we're going to be in there and it's going to be all properly socially distanced and everything. But wow, just in a 700 seater.
Oh, tremendous.
So some of these, I think that's what I want. And then others, I want the Albert Hall with everything.
But, because we've only ever seen in the 70s, haven't we, Elvis backed by a full orchestra and not just a band, apart from those 70s rehearsals, like you say.
Yeah.
So that's all we've seen. So we're crying out for something acoustic as well, aren't we? Or Elvis on his own with a guitar, whatever. Something stripped down like that. Yeah, I agree. I think that's got a part in any show of anybody with that sort of catalogue. To be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
I think it'd be tremendous. I mean, I'm going to give you my own little indulgence here.
Oh, you have the power. You've got the buttons.
I've got the buttons. Yeah. No, this is going to sound really daft. I don't even know whether I should be telling you or not because I'm going to get ribbed for it for the rest of my days.
Fantastic.
Now, one of my favourite songs, and I've got lots of favourite songs by Elvis, as we all have, is Echoes of Love, right? It was an extra on the Kissing Cousins album, wasn't it? That's the one. Now, I saw Elvis perform that in wearing his black leather suit on Top of the Pops in a dream.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, now I don't know about you, but I hardly ever remember my dreams. But I remember this one vividly, and I don't know when it was, 20 years ago, I guess. And it was Elvis singing "Echoes Love," looking like he did in 1968 for the special in the leather, and it was on the Top of the Pops type of setting. And I don't know why I remember that, and I don't know why it happened. It must have been after one of our drunken Elvis discussions, maybe. I don't know. But that's my own indulgence.
Was it Jimmy or was it Tony Blackburn introducing him?
I didn't see a presenter. I just saw the crowd, Elvis on the thing with a couple of backing singers, I think it was. He was probably miming it,
Dealing.
As the Top of the Pops want for the 70s and 80s, wasn't it?
So is that what you want in your Elvis concert now?
Yeah, but that's my own indulgence. That's not exactly the reason why we've modernised the concert, because I did say at the beginning of it, don't just put your favourite songs in. That's boring. But I had to. There's a little story attached to that, so I had to tell you that.
This is a bit sad, do you know?
It
And
is.
half of me wants to go and edit that up.
And here's another thing, right? And the final thing from me on this one is now you don't like or you're not keen on the Royal Philharmonic stuff. I get that. You slagged off the Royal Philharmonic Christmas album.
Christmas album
as soon as it came out, right?
That material did not lend itself to full orchestra.
But hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. What about the Elvis Christmas special? If he'd recorded one of those in front of an audience, so you're thinking like the Kylie Christmas special from the Royal Albert Hall, all big and grand and snowy and Christmas trees and decorations and all that sort of stuff. But Elvis singing those songs with the Royal Philharmonic or something like that. Now, he would only have to have done one of those shows in his life, and it would have been broadcast every single Christmas.
Oh, that is a missed opportunity. That is one of those I don't understand. The Colonel was so good with television. And where the key moments were, and we're all getting excited over the Frank Sinatra show at the minute because we found better material. But it's still only like 5 minutes of Elvis and our whole Christmas do would be nice. But if he did a Christmas medley in a normal show because it's December,
that could be doing. Yeah,
but I think the 50s songs. The 50s Christmas songs would need to be the raw band. If you're doing the all singing, all dancing, you're doing Silver Bells or something, are you?
Well, I think there's room for both, and I certainly think there's room for the Christmas songs, the early 50s ones, to go into that acoustic section of the show, isn't there?
Well, I'd got one other bit here that certainly adds on to that. Is we know in the showstoppers 70s How Great Thou Art.
Oh yeah,
is amazing.
Yeah,
and in the religiousy bit, not too preachy, but in a religiousy bit, what I would like to have seen in my extra show, my extra concert, my fantasy concert thing, would have been 2 songs that I would have put in that he didn't do. I've Got Confidence and Let Us Pray. And I'd have had that as a bit of a different religious one because I love How Great Thou Art, and I think vocally that's up there with.
I didn't think you liked Let Us Pray.
No, I love Let Us Pray.
Yeah,
it's Have a Happy. I can't.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Same.
Have a happy. Yeah, same film. I'll go and say Have a Happy. I can certainly do without that. I mean, if you did Have a Happy as the last thing in the concert, I'd go. It's all right. I don't care because I've got to get the last train.
No, I agree. The Let Us Pray and that'd be very good. I think.
One song overall that I'm in my list here. And what would you have liked to see done live? And again, in this very spotlight acoustic-y thing, Tomorrow Is a Long Time. And that would be so hypnotic watching that in the round. That would have been
because even acoustically, you can build that up, can't you?
Oh, it's just there. But I just want the tambourine. I want the tambourine, and I want the basics, and that would be that. And you could, if you go fantasy with what other songs, but what else is current. You don't want. There's people always say Elvis ripped off everybody else's songs. He liked it. He did a good version of it. He did it. If people were writing for him, and the Colonel wasn't so greedy, we'd have had a lot of others. We'd have had Billy Joel would have gone, here you go. Bruce Springsteen, here you go. You'd have had these songs.
Yeah.
It's fantasy. We're never going to get it. And the only thing I don't want to happen is I don't want people to make it happen because we can digitally do everything, and we've taken every syllable he ever said, and we've used auto-tune, and we've made him sing Whole Lot of Rosie.
No, I don't think so either. I think we've got what we've got, and the fact that these conversations can take place because it will never happen makes it all the more worthwhile having these conversations just purely for your own amusement.
Because there is no wrong and right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if
It's
you
it's an
did,
argument you can have. I mean, we've had several disagreements throughout this last half hour or so,
yeah,
and that's the way it should be. You know.
but somebody out there wants the sort of the Andy Williams special,
Yeah. Yeah.
and wants you doing Confidence and
hmm
Moonlight Swim and Dominic.
Can you imagine that having a real full blown bull
Yeah.
in the studio with you on the television special?
Oh, that's
Be like John
but,
Noakes' Elvis. John Noakes' elephant, wouldn't it? You get off
oh,
my foot.
oh,
It'd be
Blue
like
Peter,
that.
fantastic. Well, I think that is quite a nice little night, isn't it? That concert.
I think so, and it's something that you can fantasize in and make your own minds up about. And I would urge anybody, if you've got the same ideas as us, or you've got different ideas, and you want to say, well, actually, you should have done this song, you should have done that song. Don't just tell us that. Tell us why. Tell us how we would have done it differently, or what you would have done to create a moment in time. You know.
I think that's great. I think that is it. That is. I'm kind of excited about all that.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
people can all they can also tell us, hey, listen, we've got what we've got, and I loved it, so don't change a blooming thing.
yeah,
And so you can tell us that and tell us to shut up if you like, but we press the buttons and we decide who comes on.
yeah. But like you say, Follow That Dream are issuing soundboards a go,
Yes.
and it's very little different. And
hmm
for me, these home movie footage things that people have, the fan footage of the live ones, it's not been about the audio. It's just been, I've not seen him move in that suit before, or
Yeah.
I look at the two-piece suit he wore then, or the fringes on this. So it's a bit sad, but we really are getting to the end of the barrel now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. It's there cannot possibly be anything left.
Yeah.
You know.
It is such a shame, and we're recreating stuff. We're making things happen. What's the latest on Agent King? It's
Still haven't heard.
no, it's still on Netflix. It's, if you search for it, it's still there, but no date.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably get a US Netflix showing before it gets to the UK. Which is sad, but yeah, it'll be there eventually. I think. Would that appeal? Will it appeal to younger audiences? They probably wouldn't even know who it was referring to, would they? I guess.
Well, they just think, oh, a new series of Johnny Bravo, great.
Yeah.
Oh man, she wants me.
So I'm quite looking forward to that. I think I like fun.
I'm not.
Oh, I think fun things regarding that sort of thing is funny.
I think it's funny, but it's
I'm
not.
I'm up for pushing the. Yeah, I know. I'm up for pushing the boundaries.
No, I like the boundaries just where they are.
Well, that is why you and me still talk to each other, because we're always trying to push the boundaries of each other's tastes, almost daily.
Yeah.
So
I'm always trying to correct you. Yeah. You'll learn. You'll learn. It's only been 30 years.
I'm sure one of these days we'll agree on something. Well, we do agree that we both like Elvis, but
I agree. It's your round.
That's
I always agree that one.
That's been a regular occurrence over the years, to be fair. So there is we've got shows coming up. We don't know when, but we have got shows planned and coming up. There is a chance, ladies and gentlemen out there in listening land, there is a chance that we may be in the same room for one of these shows upcoming. Who knows?
Oh, I do hope so.
Who knows? That's good. And that will be after what, a couple of years of slight, COVID
virtual,
stuff, and this. So that'd be very exciting. I'm looking forward to that. If we can make that work, that will just be tremendous. So stay with us, folks. It's going to be, if you want to hear a fight live on air,
but
this
also what I'm looking forward to on the other side of COVID is I want to do a show from an Elvis event. Now, if you're out there in TV land again, I want to do it from an Elvis disco. I'm happy to do it from an Elvis film show. I'm happy to do it from a cinema screening of on tour or whatever. And when we can be mobile and we can get out there, we're going to be there. Now, even ETAs, because I still want to get that show together, and I've never got the response I wanted. Don't just say go and see Johnny in a jumpsuit, he's the best. You've got to be able to put your money where your mouth is and say why he's there. I'm always shouting my mouth off that I don't like them and I don't need them. And I'm happy to stand there. But if you can convince me. But don't just go, oh, you've got to see him, he's great. I can tell you're going to see him, and it's another bloke with a load of eye makeup on. That's fine, but you've got to give us a reason of why it's needed, why it's good for young fans. I want to know. And I'll come to a convention of Elvis impersonators if you promise not to kill me, and 2, we actually talk about it.
We want your opinion on this, so we want you there with us. So if you know of an event going on that's featured one of these said gentlemen or ladies, because they all do, then let us know. Invite us, and let's get
anything else, any other show, anything that's remotely Elvis-y that you think I'd love to know about that. If you've got a museum up the road from you, and it's the museum of something or other, but there's an Elvis link in there, tell us, because I love the idea of going to that one, because it's got the propeller off one of Elvis's planes. It's just anything weird and wonderful. There's a million podcasts out there, and we love you to listen to them all. And we're not trying to take over the world or make any money at all. And you can love us or hate us, but we just want to talk. We just want to talk about Elvis. And the shows to come that we've got lined up. There's some that we've got in the can that we're never going to use because we'd had a few. So we've always got something ready. Have you got anything else to add to us today?
That is it for show 39 as far as I'm concerned. Don't forget, we are on Instagram now. Go and find Talking Elvis on Instagram. We'll give you a follow back, and we'll post some interesting stuff on there from time to time. So that's it from me for today. Anything from you?
No, I say keep on rocking, keep on sharing Elvis, telling everybody. If you like the show, tell us about it. If you don't, you don't. I've got some weird videos that I've been making that I'm going to put out soon as well. And I'm still looking in the vaults for some things I made years ago I can't find. So I'll have to see what's there. Watch this space.
Well, that is it for show 39. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back soon. Goodbye.
Thanks all. Bye.
Find us at www.talkingelvis.co.uk or Facebook or YouTube or Spotify. In fact, any place you get your podcasts.